WrestleMania 41 is officially here. All the builds have been completed, and all that's left is to rank them and give you my prediction. Let's start it off with some honorable mentions, and then we'll get into the actual list. And for our first honorable mention, we have the SmackDown Tag Titles. And honestly, I'm genuinely surprised that this match is not on the Mania card at all. The SmackDown team have killed it with the tag teams. All 5 of them have absolutely given it their all. However, I am a bit disappointed that isn't a multi-team tag match at WrestleMania for the titles. This would have been the perfect opportunity to do that with all 5 teams vying for it. So for it to only be a one-on-one tag match is a bit disappointing. So that does lower its grade a little bit. As for my overall grade for this feud, I'll give it a solid 7. It would have been a 7.5 if it was a multi-team match, but it isn't. So it goes down to a 7. In my prediction, who's the winner between the Street Profits or the Motor City Machine Guns? I got the Street Profits. I think they're going to go all in on them for a little bit, maybe until Backlash they'll drop it, but for now, Street Profits get the win. Our second honorable mention is Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens / To Be Determined. Before the injury, this is one of my favorite builds, and to see it end the way it did was so heartbreaking. And now to pull a 2022 Seth Rollins where he's unsure of who his opponent is at Mania, he's kind of asking for it, he's begging for it. It's a nice little callback. And as for my prediction, who's going to be the opponent, I have no idea. Could be a new guy, could be a returning guy, could be Nick Aldis, who knows. If I were to give this build a rating, I would give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoy it. I'm really enjoying this. It's among one of my favorite, and he's going to be on the Mania card. I just didn't want to put it on the main list. That'd be a little unfair. So for now, 7.5. And my prediction of who's going to win, I have no idea because I have no idea who the opponent is. And the final honorable mention is Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green. And honestly, I'm surprised after the year she's had, Chelsea Green is not on the Mania card at all. But I also understand because there's only so many spots on the Mania card that can go. It's already going to be a pretty long show. It's supposed to be like 4 hours for the actual show itself, not even including the pre and the post show. So it's pretty understandable why she didn't make the card at all. As for the build itself, I really do not care for it. I only care for the characters in it, not the story itself. So for the build, I have to give it a solid 4.5 out of 10. And now let's rank the WrestleMania builds from worst to best. Starting with the worst, we have the women's tag title match between Liv and Raquel versus Lyra and Bayley. This match has kind of been thrown together just like the rest of the women's tag title matches in history. The story is pretty much non-existent. Raquel attacks Lyra and Bayley comes up for the save. And then the duo win a pointless gauntlet match to get a shot. There is no storyline there. I'll give it a solid 3 out of 10. The match itself will be fine, but the build itself has been pretty bad and non-existent. And number 12 is pretty much a very similar case. The New Day basically had a match against the tag champions and ended in the DQ, and that's why they got a WrestleMania match. Like, that's it. The match itself will be pretty fire. It's going to be really enjoyable, but the build, it's really not there. I'll also give it a 3 out of 10. At number 11, we have Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, and he does not deserve this match. He had one match prior to this, and he just out of nowhere for no reason at all started interrupting the LWO matches. Rey Mysterio, he doesn't deserve this. You know who does though? Chad Gable. And it sucks that he's sick and he's keeping him out. Praise to him. Hopefully that sickness can go away so he can get his actual respect and actually fight Rey Mysterio. Because this El Grande Americano guy, he does not deserve this match at all. Get him out of here. I'll give this a Chad Gable out of 10. As for who I think is going to win, I hope it's Rey Mysterio to get that fraud El Grande Americano out of here. At number 10, we have AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I just don't like Logan Paul as a human being, so is this low. I'm actually more interested in the AJ Styles Karrion Kross storyline they got going on. I'm really interested in seeing where that goes because it has a lot of potential. As for this, it gets a 4 out of 10. And I hope AJ Styles squashes Logan Paul in 10 seconds. Get him out of here. And at number 9, we have the infamous Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton feud. We all know how bad this feud was, so I'm not going to regurgitate everything that has already been said. This feud made everyone involved look bad. The only redeeming quality about this feud is that we won't be seeing this again for a long time. As for my overall rating, I'll give it a 4 to 10. It has been horrendous. And for my prediction, Tiffany Stratton retains her title. At number 8, we have LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the US Championship. The build was mostly LA Knight fighting the Bloodline for seemingly forever and Jacob fighting Braun. So it made sense that these two would collide at Mania. I'll give the build a solid 5.5 out of 10. Question is, do you give Jacob the championship? Does he become the leader, or is it still solo if he does win? How does the rest of the Bloodline react? There are so many storyline possibilities you can go with Jacob winning, and I don't see Jacob losing his first Mania match cleanly. Would either have to be through DQ or shenanigans. So because of that, Jacob Fatu becomes the new US champion. At the 7th spot, we have Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship, and this is probably the only feud that has actually benefited from the extra 2 weeks. From the Rumble to about 3 weeks ago, this feud was very disappointing. I even made a video about it. However, the last 2 weeks turned this feud around. The introduction of Jimmy gave this feud a brand new life, but since I'm grading the overall feud, the month prior brings the score down to a 6. For my prediction, I have Jey Uso yeeting his way out of Mania, the brand new World Heavyweight Champion. Tied for 6th place with the score of 6.5, we have the women's triple threat and the men's fatal 4-way. Let's go first with the men's fatal 4-way. With all 4 men that's absolutely killing it lately. Braun has been the breakout star since the Royal Rumble. Penta has consistently put on bangers since his debut, and the Judgment Day is the Judgment Day. Any one of these 4 can actually win, but if I had to choose, I had to go with Dominic Mysterio. Not only does he create drama within the Judgment Day, but also allows Braun to go after the world title, Penta to feud with Finn, and Dom to get his moment. And as for the women's triple threat, they kind of focused on the wrong thing. They spent too much time on Bianca versus Rhea, because it seemed like that was the match they actually wanted to do, and they remembered, oh wait, we have Io, let's make the storyline be Rhea versus Bianca and have Io be overshadowed, and she just slaps them both and walks out. Kinda didn't like that, but name value alone kind of brings this up a little bit. This feud could have been way more, but for what it is, I give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. As for my prediction, I have to give it to Io, because if she doesn't win, what was the point of making her the champion then? And at number 4, we have Jade Cargill versus Naomi. And this is surprisingly the first ever non-title, non-stipulation singles women's match in WWE history. If there ever was a feud to do that, I'm not mad at this. The pure hatred these two have for each other is insane. I am a little disappointed that Bianca hasn't really been in this feud, but it was fine without her. I'll give the build a solid 7 out of 10. For my prediction, I have Naomi winning by cheating. The feud will most likely extend anyway, so the heel winning is not that big of a deal. At number 3, we have Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, and the fact they turned a feud no one cared about into a feud people are excited to watch deserves a lot of credit. The brawls have been incredible, the promos have been incredible. Overall, you can't really complain. Yeah, you can say Drew should have been in the men's triple threat, but after seeing this feud play out, I'm not mad at this at all. I'll give this feud a solid 7.5 out of 10. As my prediction of who's going to win, I have Drew McIntyre via shenanigans. And the second best feud of the WrestleMania weekend, we have the men's triple threat between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. It could have been so much more if they didn't spend so much time worrying about the favor and Paul Heyman. Don't get me wrong, I still thoroughly enjoyed the feud. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, but it could have been a 10 if they spent more time worrying about their relationship with each other and maybe even added more stakes to it. For my winner, I have Seth Rollins. He's been kind of flying on the radar a little bit, and I think Roman and Punk will be spending too much time worrying about each other and forgetting about Seth Rollins and giving him the win. And with a score of 8.5, the number 1 best build of WrestleMania 41 is John Cena versus Cody. Every single promo Cody cut was good. Every single promo John Cena cut was solid. The only problem with this feud I have is that John Cena did spend the first 2 weeks worrying about the heel turn, but you can't outright ignore it either because it's one of the biggest moments in WWE history, so that's really not a big deal. But the real problem I had was that The Rock was not involved at all, and he's the main reason why this feud even started in the first place. He wasn't mentioned, he wasn't seen, it was like he didn't even exist. So the fact that he wasn't involved at all is disappointing. For my winner, it's honestly a toss-up. On one hand, you can go all in on the heel turn and have Cena win, letting the heel turn cook a little longer, or do you have Cody win and make Cena go through a character arc to allow him to win his 17th World Championship as a babyface? You honestly can't go wrong either way, but if I had to choose one, I would have to go with Cena winning. I personally want to see more from heel Cena and see how he interacts with his old rivals like CM Punk or Randy Orton. You can always have him turn babyface later. And besides, you don't want to waste a perfect good heel turn by making him turn babyface not that long after. And those are my ranking and predictions. Let me know yours in the comments below. How do you feel WrestleMania 41's build was? Do you think it was good, mid, or bad? Let me know in the comments. And when you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that noti bell for more wrestling videos. This is the Ghost of Wrestling signing out. See ya.